Hey, Wes here. Thanks for joining me today. In talking to people, it seems that getting your pots fired is one of the biggest obstacles for people if they want to get into primitive pottery. So today I'm going to fire this little mug that I made and do it in a way that's simple, easy, and accessible to almost everybody, and safe and inexpensive and takes almost no space whatsoever. I'll show you how to get that all done, so let's get started. Well, building a big fire in your yard with lots of wood and that sort of thing, it just takes up a lot of space. Isn't that easy to do? So the only piece of equipment you need today is a big kettle like this. This is a canning kettle, I guess. It's steel enamel, and it has a whole bunch of holes drilled in it. We're going to fill it up with charcoal. That's going to be our fuel. I think wood would be a problem with this, and we need a bunch of holes in it so that air can get through and get good circulation. So I think any kind of pot would work, except you do not want to use aluminum. It has a low melting point, and I think it would warp, maybe even burn through. Stainless steel would work pretty nice if you're able to get holes drilled in it. This is pretty soft. It's really not that hard. Obviously, you're ruining it, but it actually works pretty well. For something that is relatively small, like small bowls and mugs and that sort of thing, shouldn't be any trouble at all. So let's go outside. I'll show you how to set this thing up. Here is the setup. I have our canning kettle sitting here on some bricks. And as you can see, I've got lots of holes in the kettle, and the bricks serve two purposes. One, it raises it all up and protects whatever surface you are setting this up on. And actually, more importantly, what it does is it allows air circulation underneath the kettle because there's lots of holes in the kettle. Now you can set this on almost any surface, I think. I've got it on cement, but it can certainly be on dirt. I think asphalt probably is fine. Now I have a little piece of plywood sitting under there, and the only reason I have that, it's more of an experiment. I want to see how hot it gets underneath. I don't think it's going to get that hot. I'm curious whether it will actually scorch that plywood or not. I don't think it will, but this is a safe place to do it. Now, what I would not do is set this up like on a wood deck. I think that's just asking for trouble. You need to always be thinking about safety and fire and so on. Now, on the inside, I have some bricks sitting in there, and my little cup or mug is going to sit on those bricks. You want to raise your pot, whatever it is, a little bowl or a cup, whatever, off the bottom of your kettle. Again, air circulation is really important here. So I'm using charcoal here. You can use charcoal briquettes like this or lump charcoal. I'm actually going to use a mixture. So one option is just to fill this thing up with charcoal, and that would work fine, but I have a painted piece of pottery. I want to protect the paint. So I have some, in a way, sherds. I just took a tin can and drilled holes in it. Again, those holes allow for ventilation, but it also will protect the paint. Now I'll probably get some fire clouds and something like that. I don't know, we'll see how that all works. And then on top I have a pottery sherd, and then that will protect it from being in touch with all the charcoal. All right, I'm going to get this started and let this charcoal act as kind of a preheater, primary fire. I did preheat, or at least dry out, my mug in the oven inside, so I know it's pretty dry. But the nice thing about charcoal is it starts relatively slowly. And once this gets going, I will add extra charcoal and we'll get this thing just all covered up. So the charcoal is going. I think I'll go ahead and add more. I would say you want at least 2, probably 3 inches of space between your pot and the outside, so you have plenty of charcoal. Okay, I think that will do for now. I may need to add some more charcoal later on. And once it gets going, all that smoke will go away. Here's a temperature of 868 degrees. Actually, I saw some over 900. The pot inside, I can just see it, and it is red hot. So after about 40 minutes or so, I'm fully fired. Now it's just a matter of waiting. Okay, you can see that it got pretty hot underneath there. My piece of wood started on fire. I didn't think that would happen, but that gives you an indication just how hot that gets. It's been 2 hours since the fire was started. The pot is now at 525 Celsius. So another hour or two, it should be cooled down enough to pull out. I have put some pottery sherds underneath on top of the wood, which was actually burning, just to give it some additional protection. So it tells me it gets pretty hot, and you may not want to put something like this on top of asphalt. If you had more space between the pot and the ground, the asphalt, that might make a difference, or protect the asphalt with a layer of bricks or something along that line. Just have to use your own best judgment. It's been about 4 hours since this all got started. It's still kind of warm. It's about 100 degrees Celsius, couple 200 degrees Fahrenheit or so. I'm going to pull the pot out. But hopefully you can see that this is a reasonable way for almost anybody to fire pottery. Get yourself a large canning pot vessel of some sort. Put a lot of holes in it, particularly in the bottom and on the lower part, so you get good air circulation with it. Raise it up off the ground. Find a piece of cement or dirt or whatever to raise it up a bit, so make sure that it is safe. We saw that it will burn wood underneath there, so don't put it on your wood deck outside your apartment. Make sure that your pot is raised up a little bit so you get good air circulation. You don't need to use a pottery sherd. I did it only to protect the painting. However, particularly if it's chilly out, putting a sherd on the very top of your pot will reduce the probability of thermal shock. So that's just kind of a good idea. Takes about 1 bag of charcoal. You can use lump charcoal or briquette charcoal. And this is perfect for mugs, small bowls, and pots. And so, like I said, it makes it accessible to everybody. So let's pull this thing out and see how it came out. But whether the mug broke or not really doesn't matter for this program, because I really want to just show how you can fire things just about anywhere. In fact, I think you could probably take this to a park or to lots of different places and it'd work fine for you. Well, the mug is roughly 200 degrees Celsius. I think it's fine to pull it out. This is the pottery sherd on top. It protects it. Here's the mug. So here are our little make-do pottery sherds. That's interesting. I don't know where all that is. But that worked out okay. It worked out okay. Now, it's kind of a one-time use thing because this is now brittle and falling apart. But that worked out okay. So here's the pot. Let's see what we have here. Turned out about the way I wanted it to. I wonder if it rings. Excellent. Saw temperatures well over 800, potentially over 900 degrees. So I'm pleased with that. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate that. And until next time, I wish you health, happiness, peace, and love. Take care. Bye-bye.